Welcome, listeners. I'm thrilled to have you here today at the barn. And it's actually a Saturday. I don't think I've ever recorded a podcast on a Saturday, but I'm so happy to do it. And it's kind of out of the blue. I got inspired. I was doing a course on mindset, and you know that I've talked about mindset before. So today, what I want to help you do is to get a better mindset. And I'm going to share the tools that I use. And so, this mindset shifting can help you if you've gone through something really hard. It doesn't always have to be a divorce, but divorce is one really hard thing. Or if you're just going through a difficulty, or I know, sometimes in the past, I can make something a big deal because I tend to have anxiety. And so I am on this journey. And I always have been on it, but I think I've stepped it up a bit lately. And I really want to surrender. I want to surrender to God because He knows what I need from Him. He knows where I'm at. And so I want to really rely heavily on Him. And I don't want to get stuck in that ruminating over bad thoughts because I can do that. So if you're like me, this episode is here to help you. So this journey that I'm on has led me to an expert. Her name is JJ Flazanes, and she's going to be coming on the podcast in a couple of weeks, and we're actually going to do a couple in a row. But I had her on and I was so intrigued because I've done a lot of mindset work in the past. You've maybe heard him on past podcasts. And it's similar to that, but for some reason it seems to be sticking a little bit more. And I think it may be because I have jumped in, I bought her course. I think I did one on emotions and I'm doing one on our core child, which I've heard a lot talked about, but haven't really delved into. And kind of the idea is healing how we respond to things to put us further along, to help us be able to use our wise self. Now, I'm not there yet, so I'm not going to talk about that yet. But I do promise you to bring you more of this. And I am going to keep you on this journey because, as most of you know, I've been through something really hard. I had that breast cancer diagnosis treatment. I still have to go in and get a immune therapy shot every 3 weeks. So, the journey continues. And because I'm high anxiety, it's really important to me to change my mindset. And it's also really important to me to enjoy my life. And if I could just surrender everything to God, I know I would feel so much better. And that is easier said than done. So is changing your mindset. And there are times to mourn. That is one of our basic human needs. And so you do have to sit in it. But I do want to help you because I am finding that this work is helping me. And, I went on a low dose of anxiety medication through this. And I'm so thankful that I have. But I want to keep you with me as I try to, I'm not sure when, maybe at 6 months from now, but I really do want to get to a point where I can go off that medication just because I want to be on as little as I need to be. And if I need it, I'm going to stay on it. So, for all of you out there who are, I get it. I get it. And I know that it is necessary for some people. I had the big genetic overhaul, and I do know that my genes are reflecting that anxiety that is in my body. It's just genetically in me. So in a way, that was a good thing to learn. And I'm going to have that specialist on too to talk about that. So that's all coming. We have so many fun, exciting things. But I want to just start with what I have been doing any time of the day. Morning's a great time because if you're like me, there are a lot of mornings where I wake up with like a sadness or anxiety right in my gut. Notice that. So the first thing is to be aware, and I am not kidding you. We try to run away from our feelings so often, but if you allow yourself to just sit and feel that, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes that's enough to bring me peace. And that happened today to me. So I sit down when I'm feeling that, and I sit down and I go, okay, what am I feeling? And if you need a feelings chart, go to lisakoski.com. I'm reworking that website, but go there and go to resources and you'll find the feelings wheel. I have a chart too that I got from JJ. But the thing that's really important about that is it's hard to define. And a lot of times we get mucked up and name a thought instead of a feeling. But if you can look at the feeling, and what I looked at was sad. So I looked at it and I thought, okay, I feel kind of sad. And then I went under sad to see exactly what I was feeling. And I felt like I was gloomy and heavy. So I sat with that for a moment. And then what JJ taught me, and my coach Tracy has taught me this too, is the next thing that I look at is, okay, so I have this feeling. What I've learned is that you get those feelings because there's a basic human need that's not being met. So I thought, okay, what could that need be that's not being met? And I have a list of the needs. And if you go to JJ Flazane's website, you can, I believe, find the list of needs. I'm going to try to get something up as well on my website. Maybe not before this comes out, but just send me an email or get in touch with me on social media and I will get this to you. So there's a lot of needs, but I'll just give you the big subjects, and then there's you go down in those, just like with feelings. So meaning in life, and that's like acknowledgement, awareness, beauty, celebration, clarity, closure, competence, contribution, effectiveness, growth, hope, inspiration, learning, mourning. Isn't that interesting? Mourning is a basic human need. Mystery, purpose, stimulation, and understanding. Okay, I just decided I am gonna read through these to you. And then another one is autonomy, which I think is one that I stay away from. I don't know why. That's choice, that's freedom, that's independence, and that's space. Just those four little ones. Authenticity is aliveness, creativity, honesty, integrity, openness, self expression, to be heard and seen, to know and be known, transparency, and trust. So the meaning, autonomy, authenticity. And then the fourth one is connection, acceptance, belonging, closeness, communication, companionship, compassion, consideration, empathy, interdependence, intimacy, love, respect. Physical, air, hydration, movement, procreation, rest, safety, shelter, sustenance, touch. Play. I'm working on getting more play. That's just like 5. Excitement, fun, humor, joy, laughter. Community, collaboration, cooperation, equality, inclusion, support. I think that's another one that I can run away from. And then peace, beauty, consciousness, ease, flow, harmony, presence, spaciousness, spiritual connection, and transformation. So again, I'm going to try to get this list to you, but these are the needs, that the basic human needs that we all have. So if we're having a feeling that we don't want, and I want to say that, because if you're feeling joy, you just go have fun with that. But if you're feeling something that doesn't feel so good, sit with it, become aware of it, go, where is this in my body? What color is it? Just look at it as closely as you can. And like I said, sometimes it kind of dissipates. That did happen to me today. But then, as it's hanging around there, then you go to, okay, I have this feeling. And then I go through my needs and I go, what need is not being met? And I'm not going to lie, I haven't worked my way through this. So I don't have the answer, but by looking into it, I found some peace. So I felt like my heaviness came from the fact that I had had cancer. And that makes me sad. It makes me sad. It makes me like, I don't even know how to live with this because I'm such a people pleaser. And my thing was to try to be perfect so that I would be accepted and loved. Well, this is anything but perfection, right? Now, I've looked at it and I've looked at the hurt that it's caused me, and I've looked at the gifts that it's brought me. So I know that piece of it, but I still am getting heavy about that. Like, ooh, like you don't want it again. Scary. Like I had that. Ooh, I went through that. I went through that treatment. So when I looked at my needs, I'm still a little confused, and I promise I'll let you know when I start to figure things out. But I question meaning because I question whether have I mourned this enough? Because I was so like, I gotta let people know I'm doing well. I've got to feel good about this. Did I mourn it? I'm not sure. I'm not sure that I mourned it. And then I'm not quite sure if this applies or not. But when I look at physical, which seems so like, do you have enough food? Can you sleep? But there's a safety thing in me physically where I feel out of control. Like, is my body, you know, healthy? Is it taking care of me? That was a question that popped up. And as I say that, what I'm realizing is, of course, it is. Our bodies know how to take care of us. We just need to work with it and let it take care of us. So, of course, my body is giving me what I need. Um, I looked at other needs, and you don't have to go through as many as I did. I think they actually recommend like 3, but I went further out on this because I'm learning along with you. Another one I thought about was laughter. I really want to laugh more. And I kind of like put a little effort into this. Like my husband was being goofy one day and I'm like, it made me giggle. And I'm like, I'm going to just, I'm not going to tell you what he did because it was funny, but it was kind of nasty. So anyway, it was funny and cute and it made me giggle. And I want to hold on to more of that. And I want to also find a space for peace. I think that's a piece that's missing. And like I say, I have this relationship with God. And now it is time for Lisa to surrender. I don't know why that scares me. I feel like, ooh, if I let go and don't worry about living a long life and don't fight and if I let go, for some reason, that's really scary to me. And I'm going to dig into that a little bit more. But if we can surrender that, oh, it's beautiful. And I'm just going to add, another thing that I learned from this course that I'm taking is called Ho Pona Pony Pony. And it's a Hawaii, I think I said it right. You guys, my kids make fun of me all the time that I say things wrong. Ho Pony Pony. And it's a Hawaiian tradition. And this woman came on and she was on this podcast I listened to, and I will do my best to get that in the show notes. It's JJ Flazane interviewing this gal. And she said, I'm going to look at my note. This is what she says. She says to be present and let God. And when she talks about being present, I haven't talked about this yet today about how we are responsible for our feelings. And when we try to put it off on someone else, that's where the problems arise because we can't control that. But that's why we look at our needs. And another thing I forgot to say is so you look at what the feeling is and you say what needs are not being met. And I went through those with you. And then you say, how can I fulfill that need by myself without anybody else? So how can I play more? Well, I'm riding my horse today with friends. How can how can you yourself fulfill the needs? Don't put it on another person. Don't put it on the circumstances. Be responsible because that's the first step to being empowered. And when I say be responsible for it, I love that part of that responsibility is for me, for my well being, my need that's not being met is under peace. And it's that surrender. I want to surrender to God. I want to say, you know what I need. You're taking care of me. I'm not going to worry about this. And this whole pony talks about these mantras that we come up with like that take the focus off the worry and into the present. So I've talked before about things, and I don't know a lot about tapping, but there are things you can do to get back in the present moment that can also help with like anxiety. One of them is like rubbing your fingers together and just feeling it, deep breathing, looking at something and concentrating on it. It does bring you back in the moment. I also know too, gratitude. When you feel gratitude, you can't feel a bad feeling. But we want to also feel all our feelings because that is life. And it's not supposed to be joyful all the time. What I'm hoping to do is to learn how to feel the feeling and move on. So I understand that those feelings are going to be there, but I want more of my life to be joyful. I don't want to ruminate and spin out. I want to take responsibility. Say, I'm sorry. Thank you. That was one of the things she said. I'm sorry. Thank you. I'm sorry. Thank you. No, I'm sorry. Okay. I found my notes. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. She said, if you can say that, you get back into the present moment. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And it's kind of like a prayer to God and to just be like, I'm going to surrender this to you. So just to kind of wrap this up today, whether you're going through a divorce or a cancer diagnosis or menopause or your kids leaving, they're grown up, whatever hard thing you're going through, grief. I just did a podcast on grief. If it's something like that and grief has more steps. So I would go back and listen with Carrie Hopkins Doubts to that podcast. Put that in the show notes too. But first thing, feel your feelings. Go to lisakoski.com, get that feelings chart if you need it so that you can really pinpoint it, name it, feel it. I don't want you to ruminate there, but feel it, be aware of it, and then ask yourself, what need is not getting met that I can meet all by myself without anybody else? And then for me, the big one that I'm going to work on is the Ho'oponopono, where I am going to really start working on surrendering, knowing that God knows what I need and that He's taking care of me, and just I'm not going to worry. So I'll keep you posted. And I think what I will probably end up doing is, as I do these Giddy Up segments, which are those little short segments on Thursdays. So the long episode comes out Tuesdays, the short little one comes out Thursdays. I will do, and this is on the Saddle Up Live podcast, not doing Divorce Different. I will let you know the progress that I'm making, and that makes me accountable, and it's going to make me better at this. So I appreciate that. I appreciate you being here. I'm so thankful. And I hope that together we can just learn to feel all the joy that God has in store for us. And yes, we're going to feel the bad along with it, but we're going to learn how to feel that and to mourn, which is something I need to learn about, and move on and still have a lot of joy in our lives because it is a great life. Thanks so much for being here. Take good care.